Afternoon, VC. All right, so this is a video I didn't plan on making, but got some records here yesterday that I'd like to share with everybody here, and also acknowledge the passing of Billy Jones from Billy's Record Salon in New York City. Very beloved individual to a lot of you out there. I didn't know Billy very well at all. Just had a few interactions with him on the Jazz Bum stream. Well, he was kind enough to hold a record for me once, a Steve Davis record. I never got around to getting it from him though. I missed out on the big meetup in 2023 at WFMU. I think I was either still in Mercy Hospital or I might have just been released. It was what a great space he created in that city. It was more than just a record store. You could tell that. I mean, just from some of the things that I was able to see, events he'd have there. There's amazing jazz groups that he had in there perform. I've seen clips of that. And yeah, he had great records in there, like Dom was just talking about. He just put up a post. I was really bummed about missing WFMU that year. I had planned my whole year around it, and one of the major things was to go to Billy's. I think I was more excited about doing that than going to the fair itself, and missing out on going to the salon was that sucked. But I'm glad the guys were all there. They had an absolute blast in there. Alex was in there kicking people's ass at chess. But yeah, so last year though, WFMU, which I got sick at, and missed the second day, but I got there the first day. And the first day, I didn't get a whole lot of records, really. I was spending a lot of time just running into people and that I had never met before in person. Fremer and Billy. And he was the genuine article. Let me tell you. The guy he has so much energy, enthusiasm, just a positive attitude in the face of what he was dealing with. This is what I commented on Dom's post, or his video, that we can all take something away from that. But that was a man on the move. I can't remember if Dom and I were leaving to go get cash to come back in to give all our money to this guy from Brooklyn, Jim or whatever, or Basement Records, or whatever that guy's name, Joe at Basement Records, or what was going on. But Billy was leaving at the same time, and I was hoping to talk to him for a minute, but boy, he was on the move. He New Yorker, keeping it going. Yeah, really sad news. Like Dom said yesterday, a gut punch. I know Ken McCall's taking it hard. I'm sure he got to visit the shop quite a bit, being a New Yorker. I know if I was in the city, that'd be the place I'd want to be. Would be at the salon. Man, that guy had a really good knack of finding great records all the time, like high quality titles in great condition. You could just tell in the videos. And I know from people that have gone to the shop what they found and everything like that. And Dom, he talked about how great he ran that shop and how he would want to run a shop. Yeah, he also ran a music venue. He was instrumental in the arts in general, in music in Brooklyn, from what I can gather. So it's a huge loss to the community there. So my heart goes out to his family. But yeah, I wanted to touch on that. Yeah, heavy news. And I don't think I bought any records from Billy at the fair that day. I looked through what he had. I think it was mostly, hard bop jazz titles, which I already had all that. But he was sharing a table with a younger guy, which I thought was really cool. And I did get this record, Clifford Thornton, New Art Ensemble, Freedom and Unity, on the Goody label from France. One I had been looking for many years. So that's the one. When I was talking to Billy at his table, I was picking this record up from the guy he was sharing the table with. I'll never forget that. But yeah, so getting that news yesterday, it was, like I said, it was heavy news, and I was like, man, I got to get out of the house. So I went across to Repo and went through new arrivals, and I had just been in there maybe a couple weeks ago, and stuff doesn't really come in there, collections, like Noble does. Like Noble's getting in stuff all the time, like almost daily, and you can go there every Saturday and the new arrivals bins are going to be completely fresh, for the most part. Yeah, so I found this. There was a big stack of reggae that wasn't there. Gregory Isaacs, Past and Future, a UK pressing. Love Gregory Isaacs on vocals. This has got Sly and Robbie, and some great players. It's got a big side-long medley on the A side. Shit ton of cuts all put together in a medley. And then you have 5 cuts on the B side. So yeah, Past and Future. So the medley being the past and the B side being the future of things to come. Out of Gregory Isaacs. There were some, of course, original Jamaican pressings of this. This is a early UK on the green. Techniques label. This is in wonderful condition, the record. The cover is shot. Finding these reggae records is very similar to finding African records. These were partied with heavily back in the late 60s and the 70s. So yeah, happy to find that. Gregory Isaacs, more in the more leaning roots reggae, I'd say, but yeah, fantastic find for cheap. And then I was just gonna try to kill some time and get my mind off things and go through the drawers of 7-inch records that they have there, and you can spend hours going through those. And my tastes have changed. There's a little bit more in the classic rock stuff that I've been listening to and getting into. So I figured I'd go back through them and see if there's any 7-inch records that I'd want to pick up. Because there's a lot of soul, funk, R&B, popular music, and classic rock stuff in those 7 inches. And I figured, what the hell, I'll just go through and see if I can find a couple. But instead, something was nudging me to go look at the classical section, and and that section hasn't turned over or anything new gone in it in months on end. But I looked on the bottom row, and you can't help but see the Deutsche Grammophon spines. They're very distinctive, with the yellow on the top, on the spine, and there was a big whole row of them. So I knew something had come in as far as the collection is concerned. And sure enough, I started going through, and I was like, okay, here we go. And the first one I pulled was this Bela Bartok Piano Concerto No. 1, Rhapsody for Piano, performed with Geza Anda and Ferenc Frixe. This, and what a great cover. This is on the Privilege series, Deutsche Grammophon. I think this is a German pressing. There are UK pressings also, but from 1961, I believe. But Bela Bartok, great composer, and this is way more avant-garde than I even was expecting. It is fantastic. This is one of my favorite listens that I've had so far, getting into all the classical stuff, or the avant classical stuff anyway. Yeah, and this was $5. If you see this in the bins, this one's highly recommended, and should be cheap. And it sounds fantastic. We'll show you the label on this. And there was all these were $5 or less, and they're just mint condition. There's your Deutsche Grammophon label, German copy. Took me a while to. It's hard to find some of these on Discogs, all the different pressings, but I found it eventually. And then this one I was shocked to see. These are, seems to me, getting a little bit harder to find. The Avant-Garde series. I've got two of them, the green cover and the blue cover. This is the orange cover. This is Gerzhacker Orgel on organ. Mauricio Cagill is on here. Juan Allende, and also Ligeti. They all have pieces on this one. So looking forward to, I haven't spun this one yet. This should be some really avant, experimental stuff right here. This is a really cool German label. Beautiful copy of this, also $5. I showed this to Steve, and he's like, yeah, the new guy must have priced that collection and put it out before I could go through it. Or this one probably wouldn't have made the shelf for sale. So very stoked to find that. Again, I wasn't going to go through this section, but something was just saying, hey, today's the day. And then I did finally get over to the 7 inches, but it was closing time, so I didn't go through the drawers, but there's a little box on top of the kind of what's new that's come in. Interestingly, there's a whole run of Bruce Springsteen 7 inches that weren't there. Someone probably is a little upset that they don't like Trump or something, but whatever. Guy's invading a fucking city now. Fucking clown shoes motherfucker. Anyway, Talking Heads, Once in a Lifetime. The promo version with a mono cut and a stereo cut. And I can tell you, I played this. The stereo cut sounds way better than the mono cut. But I've been digging the Talking Heads, and this is produced by Brian Eno. Of course, Once in a Lifetime, one of their most famous cuts. But this is a mint promo copy, original. Very on Sire. Very cool to find. But yeah, I hope you're all well out there. Rest in peace, Billy.